to leave and start over.
Okay, so here we are, and I am thrilled to have my friend and colleague, Joyce Beauvais. Joyce, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Beauvais.
Beauvais. Okay, Joyce Beauvais, and she is the esteemed director of the show that we are going to see just in a couple more weeks. Is that correct, Joyce?
Yeah, opening night is Saturday,
July
31st.
31st, 31. I have my calendar marked, and that was your opening night 5 years ago when,
Oh, was it really?
yes, when Tots started, right? Theater
Yeah, this
Under
is our
the
fifth
Shell.
season. We're
I
we're
kind of like
pretty
that. I
we're
kind of
pretty
like that
proud of
name.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, Tots. So
because we had a show during the pandemic because we did it safely and outdoors, so we haven't missed a summer.
you
So
have
5
just
years
been
we've been doing it.
amazing. You have hit the ground running. You broke a couple of legs by now, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yes. So Joyce, I know that this is a Neil Simon show and he calls it a play. He does not call it a comedy, but I know there has to be comedy in there. If you're the director, there's going to be some fun and some giggles going on.
There are giggles, but I'm really glad you brought that up, Kate, because that's the most important thing that the audience should know going in. They've gotten used to Neil Simon, and that means comedy. And this was the last play that he wrote. And its production was in 2003. He rewrote it and did a production in New York that was fraught with all kinds of complications and troubles. And the rewrite was called Rose's Dilemma and not very good. And we're doing the original Rose and Walsh that was done in California to very good reviews. Rose's Dilemma in New York with very bad reviews. But it is definitely more in the Broadway bound genre than his comedies. Yes, there are laughs, so you'll have a chance to laugh, but it's a play.
It's a play.
And I do direct, as you know. I love comedy, but I fell in love with this piece, and comedy is within me. So every ounce of laughter that we could farm from this script, we have farmed to offer the audience. But it is a play. I wouldn't call it a full-on drama, although someday I'd like to do a drama, but it is not a comedy per se, even though it's got Neil Simon's name on it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And I love the fact that it's set exactly at McCook's, only on the other side of Long Island Sound. It's on a bluff overlooking a beach and the Long Island Sound.
Just the way the show was intended to be, correct?
Correct.
1984.
So we're in the exact setting that it should be in.
Nice, nice. And this play was first written in 1984. Is that correct?
It's set in the 80s. It was written in 2003.
Okay.
That's his last play. After that, he got pretty sick with cancer, and he did the rewrite with Rose's Dilemma. And 2 weeks before opening, he fired Mary Tyler Moore, who was playing the role of Rose, because she couldn't learn the lines, and there are a lot of lines. And he was very angry. He's just lost himself. And so it was a very difficult production, and even with great talent, but there were too many missteps, and it just didn't come out with joy. It didn't come out well. But
this is Rose and Walsh, and this is it is a love story.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
And I can't give too much away, but it is a love story, and it is a beautiful example of the circle of life. There are 2 love stories in it, and you will, when you go to the play, you'll understand the circle of life. And there's some fun, there's some mystical mystery about it. the Rose and Walsh are great writers of the kind of fame that only the great of the greatest get. An Ernest Hemingway or a Dashiell Hammett, or one of the greats is Walsh. And Rose has won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for her works in her books and her plays. And so they are Rose and Walsh. And the 2 other characters are Gavin Clancy and Arlene Moss. And they become maybe the new generation of Rose and Walsh, but I won't explain how that happens. And then we have a little comic influence that we've flown into the play with a 5th character. Jenny Katz is playing Carlotta, the hairdresser.
Oh, nice.
And you'll find out what she does. And it's truly just a breeze, but it's a comic breeze that's delightful.
That sounds great. Well, hairdressers know everything.
They do.
About a lot of people. And so that's really a gift too, to have that.
Yeah.
So the show starts at 6 p.m. on those nights that we mentioned, July 31st through August 5th. And the 7th and the 8th, and you're asking people to bring lawn chairs or blankets. And what happens if the weather turns horrible on one of those nights, Joyce?
It would have to be horrible. We have done the show with spritz, and people put up their umbrella and the spritz stops, and I do mean spritz. We have done the show when it has rained and downpoured at 4 p.m, but by 5 it's gone. And we've got tarps on the stage, and the lawn soaks that up very quickly. And so we go on.
Okay.
The only thing that would stop us from going on is torrential rain starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock and predicted for the whole evening.
Okay, good to know.
We had a hurricane and it timed right so that we were able to fix the set last year and do the show.
Okay, great. Now you have had some enormous support, and there's a whole host of people who have donated time and energy.
Yeah.
Any shout outs in particular?
I would love to shout out to them. First shout out that I would want to shout out is Gary Smith and Christine Milazzo with Bayside, because Gary is our original sponsor from day one. And this year, not only is he a sponsor financially, but he has given us the dream rehearsal space. And all of us want to turn it into a theater studio, an art studio, because it's just such a fantastic space. But of course, we're actors, we're theater people, we can't afford the rent. But he is so generous. And we're in what used to be Smoochie Bird. It's his little
right on Main Street.
Lillian's, the storefront. And it's not leased at the moment, but anyone that wants to lease it, I have to tell you, it's a fabulous space. But don't lease it until we get out on July 23rd to go into the band shell.
Okay. So that's a great,
it's a dream space. So we couldn't be more grateful to him.
Nice.
It's like a real studio. So we were able to bring in the furniture and actually rehearse on the same furniture that will be on the stage. We've never had that privilege before.
That is a privilege.
We had to put everything away because other people use the space, and we could just leave everything set up. And the furniture is the 5th season of Restore Habitat for Humanity sponsoring us and giving us furniture. And they give furniture to all the theaters around here. And
wonderful.
Kim is the manager, and she's right there. She gets the idea, the theme of the play, and she'll say, I think this would work for you. I mean, she's a great partner and a great sponsor.
Lovely.
And then we have Crescent Point, we have Century 21 Shutters and Sails, Rings, and from day one this year, he donated supplies to fix the injured set from the hurricane for us.
Mm.
Very generous amount of supplies. We've also had Jay Johnston with Total Mortgage from year one, and he steps up to the plate and says, "Let me know when can you take my check?" You know, I don't have to ask him. He's unbelievable. And Main Brace Package Store has been the same thing since year one. And Geico, Mark Nickerson, has sponsored us every single year, as has Niantic Main Street, and they did our beautiful poster.
I saw that poster.
Look for it at McCook's and look for it at Hole in the Wall and in stores and anywhere, because if you need the details, I don't know if you can see it, but here it is here too. And the Harding family have privately donated. They're not a business every year, and they gave us a generous donation. And Charter Oak,
And
our
that's
neighbor.
Bob Harding, right?
That's Bob Harding.
Right.
Yep, Bob and Nancy Harding. And the Niantic Inn has been with us since year one. And they've helped when actors needed to stay there the week of the show, if they were from from Avon last year. And they're great supporters. So I hope I didn't miss anybody. Oh, the Niantic Baptist Church offered us a backup space should someone lease Gary's space.
Nice.
And so far, fingers crossed, but we're grateful to Niantic Baptist Church for being willing to do that.
Oh, great.
So just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sponsors whom we haven't asked new sponsors because we love them so, and they're so much a part of us.
That's good.
They're who sponsor us every year.
That's great. And you have a cast of people with whom you've worked for some time, and you've developed quite a relationship and repertoire with them as well.
Yeah.
So that's
I taught scene classes over Zoom from a fall semester, a winter semester, and a spring semester. And I chose my actors for this play from my acting and scene classes that I did over Zoom. They were very successful. And I had two going up. I did a beginners in the fall. I did a beginners and a more advanced in the spring, and then combined them both, in the winter, and then combined them both in the spring. And we did some tryouts of this scene in the scenes from Rose and Walsh. And I cast the play entirely from the Zoom cast. But I do have just a wealth of actors and crew people that have been willing to work with me over the years.
Well, I think they love working with you is what I hear, Joyce. That
Kate, they're my family. I don't have any family here anywhere nearby. We are our tribe. We are our family, and I don't have the words to express.
So Joyce, if somebody wants to join your family by taking classes, how would they access that?
Well, I probably will do classes in person and on Zoom again in the fall. But everybody's welcome.
Okay.
But you're a volunteer and you have to make a commitment.
Absolutely.
So I didn't audition for the play this year because I had it pre-cast, but we always need backstage crew help.
Of course.
We do it with the same loyal people every year. But people want to kind of help, but not be committed time-wise. So we don't get a whole lot of people. But we have to clear the set, the furniture of the set every night after the show and store it in our storage pods behind the theater because we can't leave it on the stage, the props and the furniture. And then on Thursday night, August 5th, I think it is, or 6th, it's the wonderful concert, the free concerts that we have in the band show. So we have to take everything off, the set, the flats, the doors, everything, and store them, and then set it all up, the whole thing again for the final weekend. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. sometimes in rehearsal, we're laughing so hard that we're crying about 10 times a day. And it's such a sense of accomplishment and teamwork that it's kind of magical. It really is.
That's
I mean,
lovely.
but you do have to say, okay, I'm willing to work hard.
Well,
And you're welcome.
that's that, you know, and I think people like that. I think the sense of community and family, and like you said, tribe. So people would go to your website, which is Shoreline Drama.
Well, you know, I hate to say it, but I don't keep up a website. You know, the
Well, that's a
best
big-
thing is my email for
Okay.
information and my Facebook page, either Theater Under the Shell
Okay.
or Shoreline Drama, to where I will post for classes and murder mysteries that we'll also be doing, and we'll want actors and crew for those as well. We're gonna hope to do one in the fall.
Okay.
Our last one was canceled because of the pandemic 2 nights before opening. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it sounds great. Is there anything that you want to share? I think that we've covered the basics.
I
I'm
would like to
excited to
just say
be
the
here.
names of the cast, if I may.
Yes, yes.
Rose Steiner is played by Sheila Tennyson, and a lot of people in Niantic know Sheila. And I have to tell you, she's awesome. Rose is not a young woman. Sheila is the youngest, not a young woman I know, but this was a challenge you can't imagine. And she has not only risen to the challenge, but climbed way above it. And Richard Springman is playing Walsh, and you saw him last year in
I
Private
did see him
Live.
last year. He
Yeah,
was marvelous.
he was wonderful, and he's taken all the classes. He is so marvelous as Walsh McLaren. I want him to continue to do what he's doing with Rose in my life. And then Arlene Moss is played by Hilary Weisberg, who has been in my Deep River Town Theater Company and in my murder mysteries. And so she's part of the tribe, but this is going to be her first summer doing Theater Under the Shell. And Gavin Clancy is being played by Len Salter, who works at EB. He's young, he's handsome, he's the young Walsh, and he's a terrific actor. He's so good. And then Carlotta, who doesn't have a last name, is played by the wonderful Ginny Katz, who has been a part of every single production of everything I've ever done in 9 years. And so she is a co-stage manager as well as playing the role of Carlotta. And Allison Alkire is our stage manager and has been through all the productions. And David Simerson has been with us through all the productions. And Michael Pace is our sound man and technical director. And the biggest shout out of all of everyone that I've mentioned is Kathy Wilson, who is the director of the East Lyme Senior Center. Without Kathy working so hard, I can't explain it. Out of the goodness of her heart, because she is so busy at that senior center, and there's not a single thing I could do with this production if it weren't for Kathy's partnership. She is above and beyond any words that I have. She's an angel, period.
Oh, great.
In every way.
Good, good. Well, I'm
glad. Thank you, Kate, for allowing us to talk about it.
Oh, it's great. It's just a privilege.
For 2 years now. Thank you.
Yeah. This is great. Okay, so I think we covered the basics. Can't wait. I plan on bringing my $20 donation plus for my tickets and coming and bringing friends, and scheduling a picnic is a good idea, right?
Oh, that's what almost everyone does. They bring their chairs or a blanket. If you bring a blanket, you want to sit up front so someone in chairs doesn't block you out. But most people bring chairs and little tables and picnics, and usually there's a food truck that comes by. But I see the most beautiful picnics every year. It's like my mouth waters because I don't have time to eat. I want to sit in on some of those picnics. So you come about 5:30, have your picnic, and you can still enjoy it all through the show. But the show starts promptly at 6 o'clock. And we run Saturday, July 31st, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we don't run on Friday and start again August 7th and 8th, the final weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it's 8 shows. If it rains, no show.
Okay, great. Well,
And it's a $20 suggested donation.
right. And that's for a worthy cause, because you
So we
are
can do it again next year.
exactly. So we can do it again next year. So we're building it. Okay. Well, thank you, Joyce, for chatting with me today, for being with me, and for sharing all of your knowledge and wealth and charm and talent, like always.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much, Kate.
Okay. Good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.